solidly middle or upper middle class life as an adult or spirals down into the underclass. In his new book, Our Kids, The American Dream in Crisis, Putnam explores the ways that the lives of poor children are often devastated by events and situations that would never happen to richer children because of the airbags. It's the same kind of protection that people get from airbags in a car, cushioning the vicious blow that can come from a collision. In this case, Putnam means the ability to hire a lawyer, pay for therapy, make sure contraceptives are available, or merely find a tutor. A lot of poor kids don't have access to help, Putnam said. Some of the stories are heartbreaking. The trend Putnam explores in this book impact black families the earliest and hardest. Michael Gerson pointed out in the Washington Post, but these trends have now spread to incorporate much of the working class in America, including a large number of white families. The outcome is a bifurcation of American life, with upper-class families often practicing a modified form of traditionalism, 2 incomes and greater gender equality, and perhaps a third of Americans caught in a dysfunctional kaleidoscope of loose and temporary family arrangements. Though much of what Putnam calls the opportunity gap has long been evident, the things people discuss loosely and anecdotally at dinner parties and on the sidelines at youth soccer games, Putnam's work is important because he puts numbers and real-life stories on top of it. In fact, Putnam has calculated this widening opportunity gap actually costs the nation about $500 billion a year in funds used for crime and law enforcement, public health, and above all, lower labor productivity. This works out to roughly $6 trillion in present value over the lifetimes of the current cohort of disadvantaged kids. As Putnam points out, these are real costs that will be borne by everyone's children if the nation does not invest in other people's children. But judging the current political climate, one in which American leaders seem to have little interest in the life chances of anybody but their campaign contributors, there is much a chance that there will be significant investments made to provide for airbags for poor and black children. Putnam says educational opportunity in America depends on income more than test scores, as evidenced by the fact that high-scoring poor kids are slightly now less likely to get a college degree than low-scoring rich kids. In 2000, 29% of poor kids with high test scores got degrees, compared with 30% of affluent kids with low scores. A 2014 study found that almost two-thirds of affluent children had access to informal mentors outside their family, friends, teachers, coaches, church leaders, or counselors, while fewer than 40% of poor children reported any mentoring. Among Putnam's other findings are that the nation's social networks are shrinking, meaning poor and less educated Americans have access to many fewer valuable connections, what we have come to describe as mentors, than affluent children. He said that a previous generation had more of a sense that all the children in the community were our kids, while parents are now much more focused just on their biological children. This works fine for middle-class children with two involved parents and private resources to fund extracurricular engagement, but it has a devastating effect on poor children. Putnam also concludes that parents of both rich and poor kids want their children to succeed, but the parents of rich kids typically know how to achieve this, while the parents of poor kids are often clueless. He says the savvy gap, which includes everything from knowing which extracurricular activity will pay off in college admissions, to knowing how to sort out problems at school, to understanding higher education, financial aid, test prep, and knowing how to interview for a job or land an internship. He says the internet is only serving to widen the opportunity gap even further because affluent Americans use the internet in ways that are mobility enhancing, whereas poor or less educated Americans, even with mostly equal physical access to the web, use it in ways that are primarily entertaining. One of the most heartbreaking findings in his book is how lower class children are less trusted consequences. It results in a profound isolation for the nation's poor from family, from school, from church, and other community institutions, from neighbors, and even peers. This is what he said he was told by a poor young woman named Mary Sue. Love gets you hurt. Trust gets you killed. So that ability or inability or inaccess to just people, it's a social connection. The social capital is missing for children who are poor and children without the resources, be they black or white. But I think that it's primarily affecting children of color.
Resources? That's why they don't get the opportunity?
You don't take advantage of what is available, or you don't know that things are available.
No, I just think that.
Now, this is written by this guy. I looked up this guy, who is the editor of Atlanta Black Star, Nick Childs.
Mm-hmm.
What a cool guy. What a cool guy. Listen, he's a really cool guy. So, I don't know if you were too busy looking at your Facebook post.
No. I was actually doing something. Listen.
Yes.
I think opportunities. I always say that. All I want is the opportunity to do something. Give me the opportunity, and don't not give me the opportunity because of the color of my skin. Just give me the opportunity and see what happens. If I'm a failure, if you give me the opportunity and I fail, get rid of me. But don't not give me the opportunity, right? Because of a perception or a judgment.
Well, some opportunity you don't get because you don't know it's there. Like pre-college programs, right? So even though the signs could be up all over the school, everyone's not going to take advantage of that. Only some people would take advantage of it.
That's a good point. In that if you don't know the opportunity is there, you can't take advantage of it. Right? But for those things that I know the opportunity is there and I'm trying to get that opportunity, don't deny me because you think I'm black. Because I'm black. Not because I think I'm black. Because I'm black.
Smoking that cheap. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's cheap. Marjorie's blowing that cheap in my face. That's what it is. I'm getting secondhand cheap here. This is, I'm getting secondhand cheap in the studio, man. I got to burn some incense in here just now.
Oh, God, Ansel.
Yeah.
Well, but then do people know? See, that's the thing is I don't think that people know. They just don't know, Anselm, that they're supposed to do things.
But
it's just not expected because it's not what's happening around them. I saw some other kind of like quick clip at, not black people, but it was people of lower income and people with higher income don't talk to one another because they never have a chance to be around one another.
No.
And then there was like somebody says, we're going to interview these two low income people to see, how much social capital and how many connections they have to, various things. And neither one of those people showed up. I have a student who I believe is bordering brilliant, but I can tell that, they're not the most financially well off people. He's like, what are you doing in the summer? Well, I guess I'll probably get a summer youth job. Well, do you ever think about going away? Oh, we can't afford that. Now, are they going to go spend the time to go look for such a thing? Do they understand that it's important in their lives? How do, we get people to recognize that there are things all around them and that they should take advantage of those things?
But, yesterday I read an article by Gloria Steinem. You know Gloria Steinem, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. And she makes a very valid point. Gloria Steinem says, black woman invented the feminist movement.
So we're going to just jump from the opportunity gap.
No.
So
just
tell me how this segues. Go ahead.
But this is really segue because it's talking about opportunities. Black women, black females actually started this movement for white women to get these opportunities that they're now having because they are considered a minority now.
Yes.
Right? So they started the movement, all right? And what happened is that their opportunities are now limited for them and the opportunities for the others has increased because of a movement that they started. So it's similar as far as opportunities are concerned. You as a black female, have more opportunities than a black male.
I don't know about all that. I know men always say that kind of stuff.
Why don't we let's
necessarily
let's Google that. Let's Google that.
How are you going to Google it? What's the question you're going to ask?
Does black female have better opportunities than black male. It's very simple. It's not that difficult.
Better opportunities than black.
No. We all don't have the same amount of opportunity. No way. There's no way. No way. I don't have the same.
With the Google, honey, because I don't know, Anselm, if you're gonna come up with an answer to that. If you're gonna come up with a real answer to that.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Because black females have more opportunity. More opportunity. Yeah, we doing this while we on here. PPORT and more opportunity.
Well, from what...
Yes, here we go. Does black female have more opportunity in the workplace? That's what it is. Let's make it generic.
Rather specific. So, do black females have more opportunities in the workplace to what? To excel?
More opportunities than
to get promoted?
I mean, to be promoted, yeah. And black coffee. You see, it's something that you guys don't want to. Okay, let me see. No. Okay, I don't think we're going to get anything on
you're
there.
Not going to get anything on there because no. There are more opportunities for black women, really?
Well, here's one. Totally different. It says, Columbia studies unveiled struggle of new study find young black women have it worse than black men. This is actually February 6, 2015. You know what? Let's see if we get that up here. Just a minute. See, when you do these things, it's...
Well, you know what? You could play the song that I want to hear while you...
What song is that?
It's another Luther song.
Yeah, tell me this. New study... D-U-D-Y.
While he's still looking... Okay,
Find...
7 findings from the State of Black America report that prove that black community still has a long way to go. This is also in the Atlanta Black Star, dated today, actually, posted by Taylor Gordon. The education equality is actually declining. Many people are finally convinced that the black community wasn't making swift or substantial progress, but the State of Black America report reveals that in some ways the community has pushed several steps back. When it comes to education, there's been a decline in equality caused from insufficient funding for predominantly black school districts and inexperienced teachers. The equality index for education in the black community decreased from 76.7% last year to 76.1%.
So you want to listen to this one?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I was just trying to fill in.
Let's try to listen to this one here, what this has to say.
Voting rights, fear of the police, these are but a few of the issues people of color in this country have to grapple with. A new report finds struggles with racism can begin at a very early age and can be even tougher for girls than they are for boys. The study from Columbia Law School and the African American Policy Forum is titled Black Girls Matter, Pushed Out, Over-Policed, and Underprotected. Researchers found girls of color face school suspension at up to 6 times the rate of their white peers. Professor Kimberly Crenshaw is a professor of law at UCLA and the lead author of this report, and she joins us now on the line. Welcome to Take Two.
Thank you for having me.
This study begins with a number of incidents which happened to girls of color across the country, disturbing incidents. Could you share one of these stories with us, one that really stood out to you?
Well, I think the incidents that stand out most to me are incidents where one girl was arrested for dropping cake on the floor, and in the process of the arrest was actually injured injured. Other girls are arrested for graffiti. They're arrested for fighting. One girl from California was actually arrested because she had accrued truancy tickets that weren't paid